All right, today we're going to dive into one of the most enigmatic and frankly controversial sacred texts of the 20th century, the Book of the Law. It's this short but incredibly dense book that some people see as a blueprint for ultimate freedom and others see as a really dangerous justification for pure ego. So what's the real story? Let's get into it. Okay, this line right here. This is the absolute core of the book. It's the most famous part and for sure the most misunderstood. At first glance, your brain probably goes, oh, cool, a license to party, right? Do whatever you feel like whenever you want. But as you're about to see, it is not that simple, not even close.
And yeah, that is the big question, isn't it? Is this thing a green light for total anarchy and just indulging every whim? Or is it something way deeper? A spiritual command to figure out your one true purpose, your destiny, and then go after it with everything you've got. That's the mystery we're really digging into today.
So to really get what this book is all about, you have to hear the story of how it was created. And let me tell you, it is wild. Forget some dusty old monastery or a quiet library. This story starts in a hotel room in Cairo, Egypt, all the way back in 1904.
And the man at the center of it all is Aleister Crowley. Now, this guy was already kind of famous, or maybe infamous, depending on who you asked. He was a world-class mountaineer, a pretty scandalous poet, and a serious ceremonial magician. So he's there on his honeymoon, of all things, with his new wife, Rose. And suddenly, she's the one who starts getting these weird supernatural messages, which set the whole thing in motion. What's really strange is how methodical this whole thing was. This wasn't some long, agonizing writing process. Nope. The entire book was just dictated. Bam, 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 over 3 days, one right after the other. A sudden, totally structured burst of information.
So the obvious question is, who was dictating it? Crowley was adamant it wasn't him, that it wasn't coming from his own mind. He claimed the words were spoken to him by this entity named Aiwass. And Aiwass said he was, get this, a messenger of the forces ruling the earth, and that he was here to announce a whole new spiritual age for humanity. And the details get even more specific. The whole event happened like clockwork. Each of those 3 days, for exactly 1 hour, from noon to 1 p.m., this disembodied voice would start speaking, and Crowley would just sit there and write down whatever he heard. He always maintained, hey, don't look at me, I'm just the secretary here. Okay, so that's the wild origin story. But what's actually in the book? What's the big idea? Well, it all starts with this whole new way of looking at the universe, and you, the individual, are right smack in the middle of it. Basically, the book's universe is built on two big complementary ideas. On one hand, you've got Newt. Think of her as infinite space itself, the night sky full of stars. She represents everything, all possibility. And then, at the very center of all that infinite space is Hadit. He's that one tiny individual point of consciousness. That's you. That's your spark. And when you put those two concepts together, you get this absolutely central message. The book just comes right out and says it. Every man and every woman is a star. What that means is that each of us is a complete universe unto ourselves. You have your own unique path, your own orbit, completely independent of everyone else's. This whole philosophical system has a name, the lema. It's the Greek word for will. But we got to be super clear here. This isn't about just, wanting a new car or deciding what to have for dinner. Followers call it the true will. It's your ultimate purpose, the one unique mission you were put here to accomplish. Okay, but then we get to chapter 3, and things take a sharp turn. The whole vibe just changes completely. There's a new speaker, and the message gets, it gets really intense. We're talking violence, chaos, and a prophecy about a brutal new age for all of humanity. The voice in this last chapter belongs to a being called Ra-Hor-Khuit, who's presented as a hawk-headed Egyptian god of war and vengeance. So all that expansive cosmic philosophy from the beginning, yeah, that gets replaced with some really fiery, aggressive, and honestly, pretty disturbing commands. And I want to be clear, these are direct quotes from the text attributed to this war god. Things like, mercy, let be off, damn them who pity, and kill and torture, spare not. There are lines about trampling enemies, and there's even a really, really troubling line about sacrifice. I mean, there's no way around it. This is easily the part of the book that makes people the most uncomfortable. And it's not just those commands. The whole final chapter is basically a declaration of war on the past.
It calls out established religions, says to tear down old morals and social rules, pretty much burn it all down. And the reason for all this destruction? To clear the way for this prophesied new age, which the book calls the Aeon of Horus. So, you've got this beautiful idea of every person being a star. And then you have a chapter full of, well, that. How in the world do people square those two things? Let's take a look at how followers today actually interpret these core principles. Okay, so here's the breakdown from a thelemic point of view. That famous line, do without wilt, isn't about doing anything you want. It's about finding and doing your one true thing. Then there's the second part. Love is the law, love under will. Basically, love is the engine, but your true will has to be the steering wheel. And finally, the word of sin is restriction. This means the only real sin is anything or anyone that stops you from achieving your unique destiny.
And for all its controversy, this book has had a huge impact. It's literally the foundational document for the modern religion of Thelema, which has followers all over the globe. It's also the cornerstone for esoteric groups like the OTO, that's Ordo Templi Orientis, who use its principles as a roadmap for their spiritual work.
Which brings us right back to where we started. So what is this thing? Is it some divine revelation, a key to unlocking your true potential? Or is it just a super elaborate excuse for supreme selfishness? A rulebook where the strong get to do whatever they want? The text itself doesn't give you a straight answer. It kind of just puts it all out there and leaves it up to you to figure out.